Welcome to another episode of the Moorehoue Show. Today is our 10th episode. Yes. We have our special guest, Joshua Esnard. He is the CEO, inventor of the Cut Buddy, also Shark Tank winner. Josh, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me on the Moorehoue Show, and welcome to my home.
I appreciate you having us out. So, Josh, what have you been up to lately?
So a lot of people think that I'm just a grooming inventor, an owner of the Cut Buddy, this grooming tool, but I'm actually an inventor of needs. Okay. So right now you are out here in an off-grid location at my home, and I'm actually trying to solve an internet issue. So we're trying to build our own wireless internet service provider. But I'm also coming up with other grooming tools that are going to join the Cut Buddy in the lineup over the next year.
Very cool, very cool.
So, Josh, how did you end up in the Raleigh area? Were you born here, or like most people, did you end up here another way?
So that's a great question. I actually spent 3rd to 5th grade here with my parents in Chapel Hill. I went to Glenwood Elementary, but then we moved to Ithaca, New York, where they taught at Cornell, and then I ran away to the warmer parts in Florida. But when my wife and I were having a child, we said, you know, where do we want to raise a family? Where's a real place that we know is booming and buzzing and the jobs are coming and it's safe for families? And we looked stuff up and it said the Triangle. So I said, you know what, I would go back to Chapel Hill area right away. So we packed up and left Fort Lauderdale and moved here. But the real reason why we ended up choosing this area in Pittsboro, Chatham Park area, particularly, is because the soil here has a makeup that allows you to cultivate truffles. Okay. So we bought some land out here and we're going to start our own truffle farm. One of the only places in the United States where the soil and the weather conditions are ideal for the black Paragould truffle.
Very cool. And when should we expect to see that coming?
6,000 years. Okay. So it's about 7 to 8 years. You might get to taste one of the truffles.
2025.
Yeah, right?
Okay. Stay tuned.
Episode 455 of the Moorehoue Show.
Yes, perfect.
Gosh. So what advice would you give to a young entrepreneur, either financially or just mentally, as far as becoming an entrepreneur?
That's a great question, Jayson. Well, I bootstrap my business, and that what bootstrapping means is you're raising your own funds from either your checking account, any savings accounts, or even credit cards, using your own money. A lot of people want to have an idea or a business and then they just jump into it, leave their day job, and they jump into this business, have no capital, and then let's say the business ends up crashing. What happens? You have no job, you left your job, you didn't save any money, and you have this business that died off. So what I would say is be very smart about doing the phase in and phase out from going from having a day job to being your entrepreneur and owner of your own business. So save some money so that if the weather's bad, you can survive the storm.
Always keep the umbrella for the rainy day. Great advice, Josh.
Can you find food out here in Pittsboro, or where do you like to eat? What do you like to do out here?
Well, I'm not so picky, but Pittsboro has some really great places. For the sweets there, particularly, there's a place called a Phoenix Bakery. They have gluten-free and organic options as well. You really need to check there out. Over on the Chapel Hill side, there's Acme and Oak Leaf and there's the restaurant at the railroad station. I think it's called Cross Ties.
I didn't know that.
Excellent barbecue inside of an actual train that you can sit in there and have some good barbecue. But what do we like to do? Walking nature trails, just the scenery here is so great. Florida was so flat, there was the beach, but here there are, gorges, there are valleys, the nature is amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good mix of food and outdoors.
Yeah.
So your experience on Shark Tank must have been unreal.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the Cut Buddy? How'd you get on Shark Tank? And then where can our viewers go to buy buy it?
Well, okay, great. That's an awesome question, actually. The Cut Buddy is actually a very long story, so I'm going to try and truncate it. The simple way for me to break down what happened was I was born in St. Lucia in the Caribbean, and my dad and my mom had me really young. We didn't have the access to the barbers, and my dad is a real like do-it-yourself guy. He came from that type of upbringing. Yeah. So, at the time when I wanted to get the cool fades and the cool haircuts and the brand names, my dad was always like, no, I'm not going to pay for a barber. I'm going to do it myself. And like everyone in those days and ages, if you're getting a haircut, it's just like a flat buzz cut. And that's what my dad would do to me. And I was like, I'm getting to the age where, I want to go on dates and I want like to be cool, and all the kids have the cool waves and edge ups and stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to cut my own hair. I'm not going to let my dad cut my hair. So I started cutting my own hair, and I butchered it. I was 12 years old at the time, and like bald spots, all types of like crooked hairlines. I actually ended up wearing a hat for like a whole year. But, I always enjoyed art, always liked breaking down like toys and electronics and building them back up. I was an only child, so when the kids in the neighborhood couldn't come out to play, I was in my own creative world. So I started cutting up these shapes out of, household goods. Mm-hmm. And I started putting them to my head because my difficulty was getting the precise cut and the curve and the line because my hand just wasn't trained to just go whoop. So I cut out the shapes and I put it against my head and I started running my dad's razor and clipper against my hair, and then I take it off and I'm like, whoa, looks just like a barber would do it, basically. Yeah. So, I'm using this tool for many years and zoom forward like 15, 16 years in South Florida. And, it came time where I needed to take that jump and being an entrepreneur and really like do something that I dreamt of doing. And I always drew down all my inventions in a green book. That was very important for me because I forget things really quickly. It's the first page. Yeah. It's that little piece of plastic that I used for like 16 years to cut my own hair. Yeah. And then I got it patented, and then I became an entrepreneur. And 3 months later, we went viral and hit 12 million views on one of our videos. Amazing. Yeah, but in between there, don't let it sound like all kinds of cherries and roses and stuff. There was a lot of tribulation and headache and crying. Yeah. So that's how the product actually came. There was a need, and I solved it within my own life. Yeah. And then how Shark Tank came about is we went viral. We were on GQ, Forbes, Huffington Post, NPR, How I Built This, covered the story. And we were also like a #1 bestseller on Amazon. Okay. So naturally, the producers of the show, they are seeing this product being mentioned. So they actually reached out to me. Oh, that's really cool. The traditional way to try out for something like that, like Shark Tank or American Idol, is you go to a mall or a convention center and you pitch your life away. Yeah. But I got fast-tracked to the final group, and then it was about 4 or 5 months of rigorous cutting of people that they did every week. Gosh. Wow. Yeah, they called you randomly and said, Josh, I need you to do your pitch now. We're cutting 5,000 people, and if you didn't land your pitch or you didn't give them, exactly what they needed on the phone, then you get cut. Yeah. Wow. Yep. Wow. So I finally went to the show. My son was being born a week later when I was going on the show. So like my body was already ready to cry because I'm like, man, I'm going to miss my child's birth. I'm nervous about that. I don't care about being in front of people. I didn't care about being on TV, but my son, I didn't want to miss my firstborn. Yeah. Thank goodness I didn't. I step into the Shark Tank and the doors open and I walk out there and there's all the famous, people that we see on TV. And, the whole time I'm out there, somehow the thing about my child's birth was still like in the back of my head. Yeah. But it worked to my advantage because it was like I had like a trigger button like ready almost, and like when Lori, I remember, was like, "You're gonna be a father, things are gonna change," and then Damon starts talking about, "Yeah, your life's gonna change. You have to set yourself up for success, and you're gonna be a father." And I was like, "All right, this is the trigger moment." My son's gonna be born and I'm gonna miss his childbirth. Trigger. And then I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna be a dad and I just want to do right by my family. Yeah. So it was like a trigger, like, thank goodness my son was being born, because then maybe I wouldn't have been able to cry. But the emotions were flooding. But the amazing thing is everyone was so positive, you know, even Mr. Wonderful who says, "You're dead to me," to literally everyone.
Yeah.
He made me a deal first, and then, but ultimately I went with the guy, founder of FUBU. I wore FUBU growing up, Damon John. You know, I read all of his books, Power of Broke, and you know, we made a deal, and now, you know, we're in all of the Walmarts as we did a licensing deal with one of the biggest clipper companies in the world. Yep. So you know, things are great. Yeah, it's great to just be in a partnership with your mentor. I mean, not well with a mentor, but with your idol.
Yeah. That's amazing. Most people do not get that opportunity.
Yeah.
Very cool. So
Thank
Walmart and Amazon are the two main places where people can find Cat Buddy.
So you can get it Walmart, Amazon. At Walmart, you can get it under the Andis brand name. You could get it on Amazon. You could get it on our website, thecutbuddy.com.
Okay.
TJ Maxx, Burlington. And then we're looking at maybe another 10 big stores in 2019.
Okay. Awesome. Yep. Very cool. Good Christmas
Thank
present.
you. Yeah, stocking stuffer. Under $10.
So Josh, what do you want your legacy to be as an entrepreneur, inventor?
So I don't want to be known for, you know, making a lot of money or owning, you know, a business. I want to be known for someone who's here and willing to help the future become inventors and entrepreneurs. A lot of people just don't have that guiding light, and a lot of people want to say that they're mentors and they want to charge you know, these young kids or people that have ideas a lot of money for advice. However, I want to be known that, you know, I was willing to give this advice and the strategies to my own business to the youth so that they could build their own empires.
Great cause, very great cause. So Josh, who was your favorite person to get to do marketing this year in 2018? I'll give you a hint. He's sitting next to the fireplace with you, and he's on actually the back of your package. Is he? No.
Oh, this guy!
Oh, yeah.
This guy right here. Yeah. So all I have to say is thank you, because I think my sales tripled when all the single mothers turned the package around and saw that guy with the dreamy eyes on the back of the bag.
Support the cause, man.
Yes. That was great. I didn't even really know Jayson, and he came calling through the Models for Charity for a good cause, and it was one of the most amazing shoots. No problems.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did.
Guys, it's been great having you be a part of the show in 2018. We got some great new episodes and things coming out 2019. Keep a lookout for that. And just thank you for being on the show. And it's been another episode of the Moorehoue Show.